It's now time for Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. It began as a podcast, went live on the net, and transformed into a full-blown empire. It's the only daily boxing talk show on the planet, hosted by the only guy with the balls to do it. Many have stepped into the ring. Many have tried to take the belt. And one by one, they've fallen. Another victim of the undisputed heavyweight champion of boxing talk radio. Talkin' Boxing with Billy C is on now.
My style is impetuous, my defense is impregnable, and I'm just ferocious. I want your heart.
We're coming to you live from the Billy C Studios in Lake George, New York. I'm Bill Calogero, and it's time for the Billy C Show. Good morning, good day, good evening. Whenever you listen, whenever you're watching, I hope you're doing okay today. Today's show is being brought to you in a part by Sal's Neighborhood Pizzeria and Italian Restaurant located on beautiful St. Simon's Island in Georgia. Check out the website, www.salsneighborhoodpizzeria.com, or give my man a call, 912-268-2328, 912-268-2328. Find out why I go all the way to St. Simon's to get an authentic Italian meal. And speaking of my man, I hope he remembers to put his headset and mic on. But anyway, I was just saying. I was just being, I'm silly like that sometimes. Not that there's a camera on him or anything like that, but I'm just crazy like that sometimes. And speaking of St. Simon's, don't forget, join Sal and myself and some former world champions on January 19th. We're billing it as our holiday party after the holidays, or our after the holiday party. Yeah. It's after the holiday party. Yeah, that's what we're doing. And we're going to have you be part of our next filming of a Billy C Boxing Revisited. We're going to show you not one, not two, not three, but 4 classic fights, and you're going to be able to watch them with us on the big screen. And we're going to sprinkle in some celebrities there with us to join you, some food, a cash bar. Hey, be there. January 19th, Sea Palms Resort in St. Simon's Island. So check out their website, seapalms.com. Call them up. Tell them you want a room for the Billy C get-together on January 19th. And finally, today's show is being brought to us in part by, you guessed it, my book. And until I sell 1 million copies, I'm going to keep billing it and selling it. Yeah. Get a copy of my book right now by visiting. What did they put in my coffee? I thought I was putting creamer in there. I think it's maybe the main topic of today's show. I'll get to that in a second. But buy my book, all right? It's on Amazon. It's on Barnes & Noble. It's on our website. Yeah, all of that stuff. Coming up a little bit later, we got Dax Kahn. He'll be joining us a little bit. And I think Alex Papali may be stopping by and joining us as well. We will not be doing a blast from the past this week, but we will be resuming that next week, along with a new segment we're going to be doing. And it's going to be first of several new segments for 2018. And to kick off the year right, next week we're going to miss a day. Yeah, hey, we want you to feel like our show is just like it was on 2017. And speaking of missing a day, because the following week, we're going to be missing a whole week. Why? Because I'm going to be going down to St. Simon's. So if you want to hang out and talk boxing, you got to come on down to St. Simon's and hang out with me and Sal at Sal's Restaurant, because that's where we're going to be, after we're done working and stuff like that. Anyway, today's show is brought to you by, oh, wait a minute. I think I already did that. Yeah. Oh, today's show, the main topic. This is why my mind is all over the place today. Thanks to my man, Coach. He turned me on, and what a bad choice of words. He turned me on to this news bit yesterday, just before we went on air. Now today it's all over the place. But Mike Tyson, former world heavyweight champion, one of my favorite all-time fighters. I mean, I think he's an all-time great, no question about it. I loved watching Mike Tyson climb the ranks and dominate the heavyweight division in his prime. Mike Tyson, who's been known to, let's just say, piss away his money. Yeah, I'll say it. The guy made almost $400 million during his active career. Ended up claiming bankruptcy and everything else, just like Evander Holyfield, but that's another story. Mike Tyson has teamed up with a couple of guys, and he is now part of the marijuana industry. That's right. Mike Tyson is setting up a 40-acre facility in California called Mike Tyson. They call it the Green Rush for the pot that has just been legalized or available for more than just medicinal purposes in the state of California and several other states, but it's now finally on sale. You can go to a shop and say, I think I'll take some of that Panama Red over there. But the truth of the matter is, it's called Mike Tyson. Hear me right now, with his headset on and his microphone turned on, to get his thoughts on Mike Tyson entering the marijuana industry. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, please welcome Sal Rocky Senni. His new facility is called. Yesterday, I'm watching my account. I'm going, what the hell is going up? Right? I'm looking at the.
Later, let's compare stocks.
I tell you right now, I'm looking at the Dow, right? And I'm going, well, it's only up 30 points. I mean, why is mine going up so much? I look at it and went, oh my God, it's all the weed accounts I have. I said, they're all going up, and that was nice. It was a nice little jump for me. I don't have the money like you got, Sal, so you probably had a really good day yesterday, huh?
Well, no, I had a good day. It was a good day. We all had a good day. It was interesting because they passed that law in California to do just what you just said. They're opening up shops or legalizing it across the board and for recreational as far as everything else. And there's a lot of people that people are going to say that California is going to go to pot, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. But yeah, it was an interesting day. In the Dow yesterday with these little stocks of marijuana and all kinds of things that they use and can do with it for medicinal purposes as well as recreational right now. So, it was interesting. We'll see what happens today, if there's a pullback or if it continues to thrive and go. I don't know.
I hope it keeps going higher and higher and higher.
Higher and higher.
Get it?
Got it.
Get it?
I
I hope it continues to smoke the market, Sal.
Where's Cheech and John when you need him?
It's like, but no. All kidding aside, this is going to be quite the facility. It's 40 acres. Apparently, more than half of it will be used for growing purposes, and then the other half is going to have all kinds of stuff, including luxurious camping and cabin facilities, a amphitheater for presentations. And speaking of presentations, some of them are going to be on how to grow. And Mike Tyson apparently is going to be teaching some of these seminars, which is
it's got to be ridiculous.
I'm happy for him. I really am.
I'm happy for him too.
A hydro feed plant and supply store, an extraction facility, an edible factory, a garden with water features, and a lot more. Edibles are doing very well. I was talking to somebody. Listen. You say you never tried marijuana. I'll admit, not only did I try, I inhaled. And I enjoy it. I think that it's better than alcohol in terms of safety, et cetera, et cetera. That's a whole nother story. But the truth of the matter is I think that overall, it's going to be a good venture for Mike Tyson. But the edible industry has really blossomed. I was talking to somebody not too long ago, and they said to me, and it threw me off guard. They were at a party or whatever it was, and people were having drinks and actually partaking in the marijuana stuff. And this woman says, "Oh, no, thanks. I had a gummy bear." And I looked. What do you mean you had a gummy bear? She said, "Oh no, I had a gummy bear, a marijuana gummy bear, and it's fine for me for hours." And I said, "What are you talking about?" And she says that they buy these gummy bears that are actually, marijuana, and on the package it tells you, how much concentrated marijuana is in a gummy bear, how many gummy bears you should take, and all this stuff. And I'm saying, you got to be kidding. But that's one thing that hey, you know what? They've, all kidding aside, they've come up with a lot of positive things for medicinal marijuana. Yes. And quite honestly, for people that want to use it for recreation purposes, Sal, to tell you the truth, when I get into arguments with, people who are anti-it, you got to go and look at the history. First of all, you could, up until the opium wars here in the United States, you could go and get it at a pharmacy, just like you could, and unfortunately, you could get cocaine and everything else there too. But when it was put on the list of banned substances, what bothers me about it is that it's on the list as the same danger factor as cocaine or heroin, and that's ridiculous. That is totally ridiculous. As a matter of fact, I think heroin is less because some people are prescribed it or something with cancers or something like that. I really don't know. But I always, when people start getting into the argument with me, Sal, I always say one thing. I ask them one question. I go, how many people do you know that smoked pot or ate a gummy bear and went home
or brownie
and beat the hell out of their wife? None. But that happens regularly with alcohol. There was an interesting statistic that I read late last year, like two weeks ago.
Like last week.
Yeah, it was like last week, about alcohol versus marijuana. And there was something like 38,000 deaths contributed. This test was taken in 2014. 38,000 deaths related to alcohol in 2014. 0 deaths related to marijuana in the same year. I mean, what do you think?
I think it's an interesting topic, and but I will tell you, we've always been taught in my school system that marijuana was the gateway drug to other things. How do you feel about that?
Well, to be honest with you, I think that's BS. That was what they pounded down our throats years and years ago. They used to say stuff like, oh, smoke one joint and it's equal to smoking a pack of cigarettes. Oh, your lungs will be this and that. Well, that was before they were doing testing. And a lot of the tests weren't able to be done because it was on that banned substance list. But over the last several years, specifically almost 20 now, they've been doing extensive research. And you want to know? They have found zero negative aspects of marijuana. Even smoking it, you would think would do damage to your lungs or something. And it doesn't. It's actually an anti-cancer. So I don't know, man. I could say
it's very interesting.
It is.
I think.
Well, did you see?
I think I'm going to invest in it.
Well, did you? I did only because it was, it was easy to get in. But the truth of the matter was, I think it was last year, and I mean the year before.
Yes.
They did a show on this kid, and I think he was out of New Jersey for some reason. And the kid was had a severe problem with I don't know if it was seizures or whatever it was, and the only thing that cured this kid was marijuana. And yeah, it was Jersey because
I think I remember hearing
it was Jersey. Now that I remember, because Christie refused to give this kid a script, and the end result was the parents picked up and moved. And they moved out to California or Oregon or whatever they could get the medicinal stuff for this kid. And it was a miraculous turnaround. I mean, once they started, and the kid's not smoking joints. They're giving it to him in oil form or pill form or whatever they're doing. And it was this whole show on this guy. And miraculous turnaround from the results of the stuff. So, hey, listen, all I'm saying to anybody that's negative on it, open your eyes. I mean, like I said, it's not it's not a bad thing. And as far as Mike Tyson goes, they've already broke ground. They're in a town outside of Los Angeles. I guess maybe an hour's drive, 2 hours drive out of Los Angeles. It's in a small town, a population of 15,000, and the mayor of that town is 100% supportive. They had a big cutting of the ribbon ceremony yesterday, and all this stuff. So I mean, I think that it's going to be good for Mike Tyson. Apparently, he's playing a very active role. And speaking of marijuana stocks, they're forecasting by 2020, which is only 2 years from now, Sal, that the California alone, the California state marijuana business is going to reach $7 billion. If the government can't see revenue being made here, I don't know, man. What's your thoughts?
Well, I think as long as the government sees revenue and sees taxation with participation, I think they're going to allow it to continue and to enable it. And I think it could be a large revenue income stream for a lot of people and a lot of taxation going on here. No, hey, if it's medicinal purpose, I think it's phenomenal if they really are finding that many attributes as far as what it can cure, what it can do, what it can prevent, what it can ease. So I definitely, hey, let's let it run its course, and let's hopefully see it being directed in the right fashion. That's all.
Yeah. Well, I mean, anything that Mike Tyson does that can help him, I'm all for. And this sounds like they're doing it the right way. It's going to be, with Mike's name on it, people are going to come for the curiosity factor, but it is what it is. And just from the business aspect, whether people will support marijuana or not, neither here nor there. If I were the government, I would look at this and just looking at the state of California and the amount of money that they're making now, and what the projections are. If I was the feds, what I would do, you see, because right now what they're doing is they have like we don't care where it's coming from, we don't want to know, but we're going to tax you on what you sell. So what they've done is they've set up these little shops that are pretty much, and as far as I know, Sal, I don't think the banks will let you make deposits yet, will they?
That's a great question. I don't know. Hey, if it's a legalized substance and everything else is ready to go, they do it on a date of the book. So I think it's going to be a segue kind of thing to find out what they're allowing, what they're not allowing. But I think everybody's going to be caught and trying to say, hey, we're going to see how we must handle this, and they'll learn by doing. That's all.
Well, the thing is the federal government hasn't changed their stance. So the banks won't take money from a marijuana company. So I don't know how they're doing that. But my point is if the government was smart, what they would do, and it would create jobs, what they should do is they should grow it. It should be on federally grown fields or farmers that have nothing to grow or are dying out west. Give them marijuana to grow, and then the feds police it. In other words, they grow it, they tax it, they sell it, similar to tobacco and firearms, right? And then the revenue stream would be controlled, and they would be able to tap into way more money than the states are, because you would assume, like a mom and pop deli, a cash business, people coming in buying their stuff, paying cash. The company's going to say, I made $100 this week when they made 100,000, and it's hard to police. But anyway, hold that thought. We're going to wrap that up. I got some more news, Sal. Wait till you hear about this. This is about your guy, your buddy, who we're going to try to get down to our next event. But more than you are looking for him. Hold that thought, because we will be back here in about 2.
Billy C will be right back.
Broken air conditioning, $4,400. Failing refrigerator, $2,500. Don't let outrageous repair and replacement bills like these bust your budget. Get the First American Home Warranty Plan. And when a covered appliance or system breaks, we'll repair it or replace it for you.
We had a high-end dishwasher go kaput. They put it in a brand new dishwasher.
We have plans that cover air conditioning, most appliances, plus heating, plumbing, electrical systems, and much more. Plans start as low as $25 a month. Why let a major appliance or system breakdown bust your budget or go through the hassle of finding trustworthy service people? Last year alone, we saved our customers over $120 million. Don't wait until something breaks and you're stuck with a huge bill.
You save a lot of money. It's absolutely worth it.
If you don't have First American warranty, get it.
Call 1-800-946-6234 for your free no-obligation quote.
Looks like you're not sleeping well.
How did you know? And Megan!
Hey, you're that guy.
The My Pillow guy.
That's right, and I'm here to help you get the best sleep of your lives. Just like all of you out there, I had problems sleeping. I had tried every pillow out there and none of them worked. That's why I invented My Pillow. My patented fill adjusts to your exact individual needs and helps keep your neck aligned. My Pillow will hold its shape all night long, regardless of your sleep position, for the best sleep of your life.
Call or go online to order My Pillow Premium, and Mike will give you a second pillow absolutely free. Use the promo code on your screen to get 2 My Pillows for the price of 1. Don't delay. Order now.
You're sleeping better.
Much better.
And you're looking good.
Feeling good.
I knew you would.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com.
If you or a loved one have had hernia repair surgery with mesh reinforcement and suffered infection, chronic pain, mesh migration, mesh failure, organ damage, or needed additional surgery, call the Rely On Group right now. You may be eligible to receive a cash award and compensation for your medical expenses. Your voice deserves to be heard. Call the Rely On Group to be connected with a personal injury attorney for a free consultation. Call 800-715-4869. That's 800-715-4869.
Are you currently on Medicare? In other words, do you carry the red, white, and blue Medicare card? If so, are you suffering from chronic back pain? If you answered yes, you may be eligible for a pain-relieving back brace covered by Medicare at little to no cost, shipped directly to your home for free. These medical-grade back braces are ideal for lower back pain, arthritis, spinal disorders, and other chronic back problems. Will you qualify for a medical-grade back brace? Call Back Brace America at 1-800-290-8300.
Check out BillyCBoxing.com now, or feel the wrath of the mighty mustache.
Oh, that hurts. Why are you doing that to my face? I hate you.
That's BillyCBoxing.com. Consider this your warning. Now back to Billy C. Interact with the show at BillyCBoxing.com.
And we're back. You're watching and listening to the Billy C. Show. Glad you could be with us. And I guess if you're a supporter of Mike Tyson, light up today. Yeah, I don't know. But one last thing about that, Sal.
Yes.
And the thing that interests me, Mike Tyson has been, involved with some businesses since his retirement that they've attached his name to, a promotional company and several others that he did that one-man show. But the thing that interests me about this story is that Mike Tyson is going to be an active part of this business. It seems to me that he is not only letting them use his name, but from the report I read, it's saying that he's actually going to be teaching one of the classes on how to grow your own. I find that pretty interesting. I guess he's become an expert. What do you think?
I think so, without the harmful insecticides, right? Oh, man, I can't believe this. It's interesting. Hey, anything that Mike Tyson can do that's productive, that he likes and he's passionate about, you look at a warrior like Mike, and what can you say? You just wish him the best and let his ventures be successful and let him put that that intensity and that passion and that fervor into something that could be very productive and good.
Yeah, the funny thing about Mike Tyson is, he had, I know in Arizona one time, I think he got arrested for possession or something like that. So maybe he does know more about it than,
a little bit
than
more
you
about
think. Listen, I hope it works out well. And all kidding aside, it's a topic that, there's obviously two sides of the fence, and it just seems that it's almost like a political discussion, because people that are supportive of it are very supportive. People that are against it are very against it. And it just seems, I'll never forget, and you talk about pesticides, back in the 70s, there was a big scare in the United States because a lot of the pot was coming from Mexico, and they were using paraquat, I think it was called. It was an insecticide.
I remember that name. Paraquat.
Yeah,
wow.
It was an insecticide. It was a pesticide to kill insects off the weed growing,
or people,
and it was killing people, right?
People.
So I mean, when you look at it from that respect, and you look at the numbers of the amount of people that admit to using it, the government would be smart to police it in all aspects. So it's a safety factor and all that.
There.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
Well, they're going to have to. Absolutely. This is going to, as you said, this could be something that's going to create some jobs. It's going to create some money and income, and it's going to be another revenue stream. And but it's got to definitely be policed. I mean, like the restaurant industry, you got to get the health department in there inspecting you every couple of months, and everything else. Yeah, same thing with a commercial kitchen or something of that nature. That's going to be something that the public has ties to. That they have to have it secured and remain healthy and above board, so that people who consume it with confidence are not going to have any ill effects in the long run.
Well, I wish Iron Mike well, and it's part of what they're calling the green rush. Remember they had
the gold rush.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They had the gold. They had the gold rush, and now they have the green rush to California. But anyway, keep your eyes open for it. It's the Tyson Ranch. They've already created a company called Tyson Holistics. They've also trademarked the term Iron Mike Genetics for use by the new Tyson Ranch. They haven't announced the opening date yet, but they are in the middle of construction. They just broke ground yesterday. So 2 hours north of L.A. I would think that Mike is going to do very well up there. I have high hopes for Mike Tyson and his marijuana farm, or whatever he's going to call it. Hey, some other interesting news.
He doesn't get into chicken.
Yeah, well, speaking of chicken,
Tyson chicken.
Well, speaking of chicken, this guy was never a chicken, and you could never accuse him of being a chicken. But I've always called him a vampire. Your buddy, man, Vinny Pazienza, the Paz man. I've always called him a vampire because Vinny's been on the show a couple of times, but he's a night guy. He wakes up at 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon. He goes out and he comes home at 5 in the morning. When we used to air between 5 and 7 in the morning, I used to get Vinny to come on the show before he went to bed. He was coming back from the clubs, and I said, Vinny, you're a vampire, and apparently he does more than just accusing him of a vampire is more than just being a night owl. Apparently, it was reported yesterday that he attacked a Rhode Island guy, sending him to the hospital after biting him. Apparently, the Providence police say they were called to a home, and they said that witnesses told them that Pazienza accused a friend of his for stealing $16,000 and then assaulted him. Not only did he have several, the guy who got smacked around, he reportedly, Pazienza broke several of his teeth, gave him a black eye, and gave him a bite that drew blood, Sal. Now the police are looking for him. What's your thoughts on Vinny Paz? You know, he wants to suck your blood. He might be a vampire. What do you think, my man?
No comment. I'm sorry to hear that, boy. I'll tell you. I don't know. I can't stop saying
Yeah,
but
I am a loss for words.
I'm sorry to hear this.
You know,
listen. Oh boy, I was going to give Vinny a call this week to see if he was going to come down, but maybe he might be.
Well, maybe he wants to come down. Maybe he needs to get out of town. Maybe this is a really good time. Maybe this is the best time for you to call him. Say, hey, Vinny, why don't you come? You know what you should say? Say, hey, Vin, why don't you come down? We'll have a bite. Oh, no, I meant a bite to eat, Vinny. I meant a bite to eat. You know. But
anyway, boy, let's let it air for a little bit and let's get the truth and see what happened.
Well, you know, the truth of the matter is the guy's got to eat, Sal. The guy's got to eat. You know, I mean, you know, if he's got a nibble out of somebody's neck, I mean, you know, you do. I met this woman one time, and she says, you know, she was kind of a wacky. Her and her friend are telling me that when they get real drunk, the one's going, I wake up in people's hammocks. You know, I went into the wrong house. And I'm like, oh, my God. And then all of a sudden, one woman says, well, when I get too drunk, I turn into a vampire. And I said, okay, I'm gonna bite this hook. I said, I want to know, what do you do when you turn into a vampire? She says, well, I get so drunk. You know, and she says, I start going up to people saying, I want to suck your blood. And I go, well. And I said, well, you know, I mean, you're just drunk. She says, well, then I bite them on the neck. And I go, what? She goes, yeah, people have you know, really gotten pissed at me. And I go, why are you biting people on the neck? She says, I tell you, when I get drunk, I think I'm a vampire. I said, I think you're just drunk.
What?
I mean, and again, you know, when was the last time you heard somebody smoke a joint and say, I want to bite you on the neck? You look like a Doritos chip to me. I don't know, Sal. I mean, alcohol is way worse. It's way worse.
Bill, no, I won't say it.
Say it. Go ahead, Sal. Today's one of those days. I don't know what happened. I don't know what was in my. I thought it was non-dairy creamer, but you never know. But what were you gonna say?
Do you have any gummy bears lying around there?
No, I've never. You know, I've never done that. And I'll tell you the truth. One time I did try somebody made, you know, like brownies. And it doesn't affect me like that at all. And I don't do that. I mean, I know a lot of people do, but I don't. But anyway, hey, listen. We got a bunch of emails to read. But first, we're scheduled to have Dax Kahn join us. I'm curious to hear what his thoughts are. And we're going to take a break right now, Sal. And when we come back, we'll have Dax Kahn. We'll get his thoughts on boxing from 2017, what we can expect in 2018. And what he thinks of Mike Tyson's ranch. And no, it's not a bunny ranch. It's a weed ranch. I'm curious to hear what Dax says. So we'll get Dax on the line here in about 2 minutes. In the meantime, don't go nowheres.
Billy C will be right back.
Relief from backaches and stiffness in your hips or down your legs? Then you need Dr. Ho's Back Relief Belt, the innovative technology to support and decompress your spine. And now it's covered by Medicare.
Every patient with back pain should be wearing this belt.
Nothing gave me instant relief except for the Dr. Ho belt.
Feel good while standing, walking, driving, doing housework, and while laying down. And now Dr. Ho's patented belt is available at our best price ever. It's even covered by Medicare. Order now and get the easy-to-use hand pump and back rehabilitation DVD free.
You know, similar belts can cost you almost $1,000, but my belts won't cost you $500, not $300, not even $200. I will give you my special TV price.
And remember, Dr. Ho's belt is covered by Medicare.
If you know a friend or family member that suffers with pain, get them my system today. Help them live with less pain, be more active, and get back to doing the things they love. Give them the gift of health.
This is important news for women using birth control medications and devices. If you or a loved one have been diagnosed with a pseudotumor after using one of these birth control drugs or devices, you may be eligible for a cash award and medical expenses. Contact the law firm of Davis & Crump right now if you or a loved one have used one of these birth control medications or devices and were diagnosed with a pseudotumor to see if you are eligible for a cash award and medical expenses. Call now. Operators are standing by.
Hologram USA presents a proposal to all investors. Hologram USA is an innovative three-dimensional patented technology that shifted the paradigm in media technology. Our patented hologram technology that brought you Tupac and Coachella, Whitney Houston, Billie Holiday, and many more is integrating live performances to bring your favorite past and present entertainers beyond your imagination. Invest in the patented technology before the banks scoop up all the stock. Invest in Hologram USA today. Hologram USA Flagship Theater, located on Hollywood Boulevard's Walk of Fame, is the first of many to come. Call now to be part of the explosive growth. Pick up the phone. Dial the number on your screen now. Invest in Hologram USA today. Call the number on your screen right now to learn about this investment opportunity.
Call 800-624-1673. 800-624-1673.
Are you currently on Medicare? In other words, do you carry the red, white, and blue Medicare card? If so, are you suffering from chronic back pain? If you answered yes, you may be eligible for a pain-relieving back brace covered by Medicare at little to no cost, shipped directly to your home for free. These medical-grade back braces are ideal for lower back pain, arthritis, spinal disorders, and other chronic back problems. Will you qualify for a medical-grade back brace?
Call Back Brace America at 1-800-290-8300.
Now back to Talkin' Boxing with Billy C., the only radio host man enough to take a punch from Mike Tyson.
Wait a minute, man. Hold on there. Jeremy, man, I need you to take this one, all right?
Wait, what? No way. I can't do this.
Need I remind you I'm Billy C., damn it? Now put on that mustache and get in there.
Hey, look at me. I'm Billy C. Crap.
Undisputed heavyweight champion of Boxing Talk Radio. It's Talkin' Boxing with Billy C.
Now back to Billy C. Interact with the show at BillyCBoxing.com.
And we're back. You're watching and listening to the Billy C. Show. Glad you could be with us today. And don't forget, we want you to be with us on January 19th when Sal and I do another Billy C. boxing event. It's going to be taking place at the Sea Palms Resort in St. Simons Island. So check it out, seapalms.com, and give them a call and tell them you want to be part of the Billy C. event on January 19th. We're going to show you not one, not two, not three, but 4 classic fights, and we'll have some food there for you, a cash bar. You don't want to miss this. Join us January 19th. Speaking of joining us right now to get his thoughts on boxing in 2017, what to expect in 2018, and what he thinks about Mike Tyson's new pot farm. Dax Kahn joins us. Dax, what's up, my man? Happy New Year.
Good morning. Hey, Happy New Year's. Just told Sal Happy New Year's. How was your New Year's?
My New Year's was good. I don't know what they put in my coffee today. I think Mike Tyson stopped by. But what's first, before you get into your final thoughts on 2017 and what we should expect in 2018, what do you think about the news of the Tyson Ranch 40-acre marijuana facility he's building out in California?
I don't.
You don't what?
I don't think about it.
Well, what's your thoughts on it?
It's okay, so he's doing it. It's relevant to nothing.
Oh, all right. Well, what's your thoughts on 2017's boxing then? It's relative to our topic today, but what's your thoughts on 2017 in boxing?
I've given a lot of thought to 2017, especially there was an email that was sent in by a listener yesterday. He was talking about what a great year that 1997 was. And he's right. That was certainly a fantastic year in terms of quantity and quality of fights. And same thing with 2017. And there was a lot of similarities in those 2 years. Not only for what took place in those years, but I see what if for the year following up, if that makes sense. As I was talking with Sal, and I know I've shown Joel this poster before. In my office. As a matter of fact, in front of my desk, I have a poster from the 1997 Boxing Hall of Fame, and on there you have I have signatures from Marvin Hagler, Kit Gavilan, Benitez, Pryor, Fulmer, Pep, Jose Torres, Tony DeMarco, Lexus Arguello, Sadler, Patterson. You name it. There's a ton of them. If you read my article on the front page. I talk about some of the great fights and quality matchups we had in 2017. We had the Klitschko Joshua fight, we had the Canelo Triple G fight, the Ward Kovalev, Lomachenko Rigondeaux, and no matter how they ended, no matter what anybody's opinions were of the scores, they were all genuine top 10 pound for pound fighters, facing one another. We've seen a lot of guys go out in 2017. We've seen a lot of guys retire, and one guy who retired on a loss, Vladimir Klitschko I'm speaking about, actually raised his profile going out on a loss against Anthony Joshua, which was named by most people the fight of the year. His overall legacy, he goes down, he gets up, he walks through punches, he drops Joshua, he answers questions on Joshua. The public had, as we spoke about the last time, and, Klitschko actually, showed that he isn't this boring fighter, and even as an older fighter, and we also seen that Anthony Joshua, when the time comes, he can answer adversity. We lost so many members of the sport in 2017, Bill. Over 50 former members, whether they're judges or journeymen, Hall of Famers, in my whole life, either watching boxing or, covering boxing or working for a sanctioning body or owning a gym. I don't remember that many fighters passing away in 1 year, being, again, Olympians, amateurs, national amateurs, journeymen. Can you remember that many passing away in 1 year?
I think last year was a pretty high, and I don't mean 2017, I mean 2016. It's natural because think of the numbers of how many fighters there were in that era, in the 50s and 60s, and they're all at that point now in their lives. So yeah, it's going to seem like a lot. I know we lost some young ones too, which is always a sad thing. But one comment I want to make about your point about the Klitschko Anthony Joshua fight. I mean, it was definitely my fight of the year, not only for the excitement factor, but also for the significance of what it did to the sport, for the sport, I should say. But one thing I do want to comment and make clear, Vladimir Klitschko, and I agree with what you said, he definitely put on a performance that was not his usual style. And all I could help, and I thought about it at the time, and I can't stop thinking about it in terms of Vladimir Klitschko. And you and I specifically have had this conversation about Vlad many, many times over the years. And he is an all-time great. And he did dominate the heavyweight division for so long. And he's almost like a guy that, unless you're a die boxing fan, you may never have even heard of him. I just feel like his style was Joshua. I think people would be talking about Vladimir Klitschko as one of the greatest of all time. Not even having that but. He's a great fighter. He dominated. But he was boring. But he did this. But he did that. I wish he performed like that more than what he did, to be honest with you. What do you think, Sal?
Well, I think his legacy is going to be that he remain as the champion as long as he did, and he was beating everybody. Maybe he wasn't the most exciting fighter, but when he had to do it and had to show what he was capable of doing, he said, "Hey, this is me, and this is what I'm going to show people I could do." Well, and you're in the trenches, your instincts take over, and basically he fought for his victory, for his survival that night, and even though he came up short. It was the passion, the heart that kept bringing him into the game, into the ring, and into the next round. And, most fighters have that and possess that. It's just when they're tested, they could some shine and some fail. And, we'll remember Klitschko for so many reasons. I mean, like I said, this guy has been a heavyweight champion for how many years and how many opponents, and you can't blame the era where he is the champion that there's not the prime beef out there that he can tackle at all times, but he had his moments, and he was a reigning champion, and I respect him and I appreciate him for being the fighter that he was and that he still is.
Hey, Dax, I agree with you about his value going up, but you and I can't remember if we talked about it extensively or if it was in one of your articles that you wrote, but you made a comment one time, and you said not only has he controlled the division for a decade, you could make the argument that he hadn't lost a round up until the fight with Anthony Joshua. I mean, talk about dominating.
Yeah, his brother actually, Vitaly, actually holds that statistic in a fight. He was never behind in a fight. Even the fights he lost, he was never behind on the scorecards. But yes, there was an article that we speak about. If you Google it, I forget even who I wrote it for, and the title of the article is Vladimir Klitschko Too Good for His Own Good? And I wrote that article just after the Lehman-Brewster rematch, where I said Vladimir Klitschko is going to be so dominant and he's going to win so easily that fans aren't going to appreciate exactly how good he is, because he's not going to go out there and knock everybody out. But back, to what we were talking about, with 2017, again, the United States was shown up by Japan. The entire boxing world was shown up by Japan, who closed out 2017 in spectacular fashion on December 30th and 31st with top-name fighters. Naoya Inoue, the super flyweight sensation, made another defense of his WBO title with a third-round stoppage over Yohan Bayu. His brothers Takumi and Koki, they had dominant victories. Kenshiro, the WBC light flyweight champion, who had a sensational 2017. If he fought any place else but Japan, or maybe in a different division, he would have been in the running for Fight of the Year. After 9 fights, he wins the WBC light flyweight title from Ganigan Lopez, and he defends against Pedro Gueva. On the 30th, he just literally, dominated Gilberto Pedroza. Inouye's going to be back on the Superfly 2 card. So these guys here, the United States again has been shown that there's a difference between what's going on here and the way the fans are looking at the sport here, and the mentality of the promoters from here than the rest of the world. Something interesting I learned about Kenshiro. His birth name is Kenshiro Tajara. When he tried to register himself to be a fighter, he tried to use his first name only, Kenshiro. And remember back in the old days that fighters like to use monikers or they like to use nicknames, but the Japanese Boxing Commission denied that request. So Shiro, to overcome this, because his family didn't want him to use his last name, they didn't want him to become a fighter, he broke his first name up into 2 parts, Ken and Shiro.
Oh, interesting.
Good.
Just to comment on what you said about USA and Japan. Japan has found that niche with the New Year's, the 30th, 31st, the New Year's Eve and New Year's Eve fights. I think they're the only place that really does it on a consistent basis. And I agree that it shows you the level of support from the fans, because let's face it, here in the States, the fan base does not go and support the sport of boxing in any way, shape, or form on holidays. And I'm talking about going to live events or watching it on TV. And quite honestly, the UK, which I think has taken over the sport and is spreading its wings here to the States with the addition of promoters coming over here to promote. They don't do it either. So I think Japan found a little niche, and I'm glad that they're keeping up with it. And the way they have, just like you mentioned, Dax, they've put on some good shows. Last year was a good event too. They had, I think, 4 or 5 world championships over those 2 days, and they've kept that ball going. And I think that is their little niche. I don't see anybody competing with Japan for quite some time with the New Year's Eve and New Year's Eve night fights. Or
especially with any division, in my opinion, under bantamweight. But what does boxing need to have happen in 2018 for it to be just as, if not better than 2017? So some major changes have to be taken, not only in the promotion stance, but the media stance and the fans' point of view stance. And we're all responsible for that. Whether by all responsible, I mean by broadcasters, television networks, shows like ours, writers, magazines, etc. In 2017, Robert Guerrero, Orlando Salido, Juan Manuel Marquez, Miguel Cotto, Vladimir Klitschko, Andre Ward retired suddenly, Timothy Bradley all retired. Were some on the downside? Absolutely. Guys like Bradley and Marquez didn't even fight in 2017. Marquez not even 2016. And that sudden announcement of Andre Ward, the fact that all this took place at one time literally changed the landscape of boxing. Okay, these guys weren't fighting actively, but that official announcement changed that landscape, and to kind of put up a banner that said the new era has officially begun. Now that question is, Bill, Sal, will boxing allow a new era to begin? Will the fans allow it? Can the media, most importantly, allow it? And can we all get over this bad habit that we see time and time again? Can we stop recycling the same names? Can the media stop recycling the same names, whether it's TV, whether it's internet, whether it's magazine, all for the sake that what the promoters do is they know already that these names are going to draw in the readers, and they use these names to get the readers in there or to start promoting a fight, and then they're not building on the other names because the readers have become bored, or the fans have become bored with watching these same guys because they're not performing at that same level. Can boxing change this habit to make 2018 a sensational year just like 2017, or even be able to sell fights that aren't even on that pound-for-pound status, but fights that at one point in time we'd sit down and watch and say, you know what, this was a good night of fights, even if the guys that were fighting aren't guys that you knew offhand just by their names on the screen? Well,
personally, first of all, I agree 100%. The retread, which I like to call them retreads, is terrible for the sport. And it turns new fans away, and it turns old fans away. But that's not the fault of the media. I think that's the fault of the promoters because, like I've said years ago, promoters don't promote anymore. They're lazy. They don't want to do like Sal has referred to in the past, grassroots promoting, knocking on the doors, doing what made boxing so popular in its heyday. Now they go to social media. That's it. They hope that it all works, and then when it doesn't, they blame the sport. The boxing's dead. The fans aren't interested. Well, they're not promoting and making you feel. A lot of people talk negatively of Don King, but Don King made you feel that if you didn't go watch one of his shows, you were missing out on something big. That's called promoting. That's something that the promoters today don't do. Now, as far as the fans are concerned, a lot of these younger fans, and the three of us have talked about this a lot, are just not educated in the sport. They believe what they read, they believe what they think they're seeing, etc., etc. I think that if young fans just getting into the sport would go back and spend a little time learning about some of the past greats and why they were great, I think that they would agree that the sport needs to go back in that direction. Now, with that said, I think we have the capability with the athletic ability of the fighters of today to be in one of the greatest eras ever. The problem is, are they willing to fight? And I think when you get rid of those names, especially the names that you mentioned, with the exception of Orlando Salido and some of the Warriors, but guys like Andre Ward, and like I said the other day, even Floyd Mayweather, when those guys are added a mix, their cherry-picking ways, their boring styles, when they're added a mix, everybody else seems to step up their game because they want to fill those slots, fill those voids. And in order to do so, they have to perform. And that's really the beauty of this sport. You don't need to get in front of a mic or in front of a camera and demand respect and say you don't get the recognition you deserve and you're this and you're that and you're everything else. The sport of boxing is pretty good at giving the accolades deserved based on the performances. And I think that pressure, Dax, that you mentioned is on the young fighters' shoulders. And I think for the most part, with the exit of some of the names that you mentioned, I think that we have a good group, and I think they are willing to fight each other. I think 2018 is going to tell the story, to be honest with you.
And we do have a great group of fighters, and we have a group of young talent coming up. But again, it's the combination of what the promoters put out, what the networks put out, and what the media puts out, especially how all that incorporates into social media, and that's what gets the fans circulating and talking. Unless we start talking about more than a few fighters collectively, or whether or not promoting a few fighters collectively, because we know that this small talent pool are the ones that are going to grab that attention. The sport isn't going to have these same types of repeat years. For a perfect example, Vasyl Lomachenko and Anthony Joshua, while both are two arguably biggest superstars in the sport right now, and are definitely worth talking about on a regular basis, there needs to be a limit. Whether or not it's the media, what they say, or the YouTube, or how the networks place it out, Vasyl Lomachenko and Anthony Joshua, who don't have 30 combined fights between them, so they have the same accolades as Ray Leonard, Alexis Arguello, Lennox Lewis, Mike Tyson, Vladimir Klitschko. It took them, Salvador Sanchez, that took them a whole career to develop. Boxing, what we need to really stop doing is prematurely declaring fighters the greatest of all times based off 1, 2, 3, 4 wins. We have to, stop putting these unreasonable expectations on what we want from the promoters on a regular basis, or what we want from the TV networks on a regular basis. And we have to stop clinging to just 2 or 3 fighters, because what we're doing in that is we're lowering the talent pool on our own. And on the opposite side, what we do is we seem to feed into negative attention lately. We talk about this TMZ type promotion or WWE type promotion. How many times over the last year was Adrian Broner and his nonsense, whether or not he had a gun, he was for attention, saying he was going to shoot himself, or he was getting in trouble for drinking and driving, or Gervonta Davis not making weight and calling women names. Did they make headlines? Can boxing, again, it's the same thing where, they're drawing, the networks and the media are drawing the fans into there. They know that these younger fans are easily attracted by, such behavior. So this is what we're using to build up ratings. But yet, we go and we ignore the guys that should get the attention. An example on that would be Billy Joe Saunders. Okay, there's a lot of questions on Billy Joe Saunders, even after the David Lemieux fight. But before then, Billy Joe Saunders, because of his personality, he turns a lot of guys off. But, now that Billy Joe Saunders has called out Triple G and Canelo are continuously still, doesn't matter whose fault it is, they're both having this problem on making this rematch happen. Now, when Saunders goes out there after a sensational performance like he did over David Lemieux, what's going to happen is the boxing media and the fans and the networks, they're going to blame Billy Joe Saunders for not fighting a Triple G or fighting a Canelo, when Triple G and Canelo have no interest in fighting anybody, let alone each other, unless there's that certain payday for. We can't continue giving this negative attention to the guys who aren't doing their job, and then sit there and rob the sport of the guys who are actually out there trying to do exactly what you said, be warriors and fight and try and fill these slots that aren't being filled. We're putting ourselves more or less in a stalemate. Luis Ortiz is another prime example of that. The Luis Ortiz PED debate, whether or not it was a prescription, he didn't tell the sanctioning bodies, and he didn't tell VADA beforehand, so that's why the Deontay Wilder fight never went through. The WBA doesn't let him fight, but the WBC is allowing him to fight now. This was, 4, 5, and 6 months. This was in headlines at least twice a week. Then we have a WWE type incident after Luis Ortiz comes back and he fights a less than mediocre Daniel Martz. We as boxing as a whole, we criticize this WWE incident. We criticize these actions. We criticize both sanctioning bodies. But something, we spoke about this on a regular basis. But what we should have been speaking about is Daniel Dubois, the 6'5" amateur standout that they're already whispering now after 5 fights that, in 10 more fights, he'll beat Joshua and Wilder both. Can boxing allow ourselves to start broadening out, talking about the fighters for the right reasons, ignoring the negative attention, and letting the sport expand? Because as the sport and the superstars and this talent pool starts to lessen, then the money coming in for these promoters and the TV network starts to lessen, and the interest of the fan starts to lessen because you know what? They haven't been introduced to this wide talent pool, and then all of a sudden, boxing gets set into this, sort of abyss. The interest gets lost, and in this TMZ and in this social media era and in this YouTube era, what happens is the fan base starts going elsewhere. Does that make sense?
Well, first of all, news is news is news. I mean, it's not just boxing. I hear what your point is, but when these idiots do something that gets them, front page, maybe some of them and some of their fans thinks it's cool when they get arrested for this or that, the other thing, but it's not. But I think the moral of everything you said is that the sport of boxing is starved for characters. What made boxing so popular in years gone by was that we had characters to relate to, good or bad. Mike Tyson is a great example of that. People either loved him or hated him, but he was a character. Sugar Ray Leonard, Marvin Hagler, obviously Muhammad Ali. Yeah, all these guys. That's something that we don't have anymore, Sal. And I think that these younger fighters, they're trying to develop it, but they have so many people part of their team and whispers in their ears, that maybe they don't make the right decision, or they're saying to themselves, hey, this is my life. I risk my life getting in the ring. I want to make the money. And then they look at some previous guys with the success, and not just mediocre success, big-time success, like Floyd's financial success. Other fighters want to emulate that. Human nature is to, follow success. And if it works for somebody, it could work for you. And I just think that the sport is starved for characters. And I think if it's given an opportunity, Sal, I think that they can come back. What do you think?
Well, I think you're right. And what you just said is so true. When you have a character, whether even like a Don King, I mean, he was bigger than life. You knew who he was. He had face recognition. He had his self-touting behavior that was bigger than life. And this gathered and fans around and people in the sport that wanted to hear what was being said, what was being declared. And the same thing with fighters. You have some fighters that are quiet and respectful, and you have some fighters that have a personality that like to toot their own horn. There's something. What you just said is so true, though. We need the kind of fighters that draw the fans to the game. And I'm not saying they have to be completely off the wall antics and things like that. No. But they have to have some type of personality behind their punches that will attract the people to the game. That, wow, this guy said that. Well, let me look at him. Let's see what he's about. Those are the things during the past eras that were always bringing the casual boxing fan to the game. So you have the purist that's going to watch boxing no matter what because they love boxing. They love the art. They love the skill level. They love the skill set. And they want to see a good competition between two combatants. But you also will attract the secondary or the tertiary or the casual fan that wants to see a personality. So there's a lot that goes on, and there's no secret formula. It's just, the stars haven't had the alignment that as they did with the past decades or past eras. So, we're waiting for those kind of personalities to develop and to get to the attraction and to the media to see what people are going to say. Hey, what's this guy about?
Hey, Dax, I got less than 30 seconds before I got to take a break. Quick question.
And we have those. And we have those.
Quick question, Dax, to you is the fact that we do have characters today. However, they are negative characters.
They're caustic.
Where's the line? You got less than 30 seconds.
We just have to draw the line of not focusing on two or three guys. We have to build the guys up from the bottom to the top in all ways like we used to. Mike Tyson's a perfect example. The only reason why Mike Tyson's being spoken about in this marijuana form is because Mike Tyson was such a dynamic fighter, and then he actually, even with his worst and lowest times in the public, you could relate to him as, a genuine person. You've seen him evolve as a person, and that's why Mike Tyson still remains a superstar, a global phenomenon, even away from boxing. And we have a lot more of these guys today today, except, you know what, there's just not being marketed right because it's all about that old mentality and it's all about, you know, the right now. It's nothing about with the future. And you know, that's my biggest issue with the sport. If boxing can tone that down a little bit, you know, look for 2018 to be better than 2017. If not, then just look for a lot of complaints.
Dax, thanks for your time. We'll see you. Are you coming on again this week? I don't know. Well, if not this week, we know we're going to see you Monday. So
all right.
have a good one, my man. Listen, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we got some emails to read and then some. So don't go nowhere. That's the bottom line. Don't go nowhere.
Billy C will be right back. Part of the Billy C Boxing Network.
Snacking has never been this exciting. At Graze.com, we combine wholesome ingredients with the flavors we all love to create over 100 exciting snacks, like these. We'd love to send you a Graze sampler box for free. Just go to Graze.com, enter the code ENJOY36, and we'll mail your free box to your home or office. Join thousands of Grazers already in love with our exciting snacks. So come to Graze.com for your first box free.
Looks like you're not sleeping well.
How did you know? And Megan!
Hey, you're that guy.
The My Pillow guy.
That's right, and I'm here to help you get the best sleep of your lives. Just like all of you out there, I had problems sleeping. I had tried every pillow out there and none of them worked. That's why I invented My Pillow. My patented fill adjusts to your exact individual needs and helps keep your neck aligned. My Pillow will hold its shape all night long, regardless of your sleep position, for the best sleep of your life.
Call or go online to order My Pillow Premium, and Mike will give you a second pillow absolutely free. Use the promo code on your screen to get 2 My Pillows for the price of 1. Don't delay. Order now.
You're sleeping better.
Much better.
And you're looking good.
Feeling good.
I knew you would.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com.
Hologram USA presents a proposal to all investors. Hologram USA is an innovative 3-dimensional patented technology that shifted the paradigm in media technology. Our patented hologram technology that brought you Tupac and Coachella, Whitney Houston, Billie Holiday, and many more is integrating live performances to bring your favorite past and present entertainers beyond your imagination. Invest in the patented technology before the banks scoop up all the stock. Invest in Hologram USA today. Hologram USA Flagship Theater, located on Hollywood Boulevard's Walk of Fame, is the first of many to come. Call now to be part of the explosive growth. Pick up the phone. Dial the number on your screen now. Invest in Hologram USA today. Call the number on your screen right now to learn about this investment opportunity.
Call 800-624-1673. 800-624-1673.
Are you currently on Medicare? In other words, do you carry the red, white, and blue Medicare card? If so, are you suffering from chronic back pain? If you answered yes, you may be eligible for a pain-relieving back brace covered by Medicare at little to no cost, shipped directly to your home for free. These medical-grade back braces are ideal for lower back pain, arthritis, spinal disorders, and other chronic back problems. Will you qualify for a medical-grade back brace?
Call Back Brace America at 1-800-290-8300.
Check out BillyCBoxing.com now, or feel the wrath of the mighty mustache.
Oh, that hurts! Why are you doing that to my face? I hate you.
That's BillyCBoxing.com. Consider this your warning. Now back to Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. He may not have an Excellence in Broadcasting award, but the night's still young.
And he's got martinis.
So you never know what may be by morning. It's Talkin' Boxing with Billy C.
Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. Now back to Billy C. Interact with the show at BillyCBoxing.com.
And we're back. You're watching and listening to the Billy C. Show. Glad you could be with us. And don't forget about joining us on January 19th It's our next Billy C boxing event. It's our after the holiday party. That's right. Sal and myself and a couple of former world champions will be at the Sea Palms Resort on Friday, January 19th, and we will be broadcasting not one, not two, not three, but 4 classic fights for you to check out and watch with us. Not only will you be there with us and part of our audience live as we film this, but we will have food for you, we'll have a cash bar, and you'll be able to mingle and jingle and hang out with some former world champions. So check it out. Visit cpalms.com. Give them a call today and tell them you want to book a room and a weekend. Make it a weekend at the beautiful Sea Palms Resort for the Billy C event. Like I said, it's a Friday night, but stay at the Sea Palms for the weekend. Bring the whole family. What a great golf course it is. And if you're in the Northeast like we are, you want to get down to a place that's a little warm. But today, I guess it's not that warm down there, is it, Sal?
No, are you kidding me? I think they're shutting down the island. The causeway might be because you need it to get to the island. I think they're trying to see if it's going to be cold enough and it's going to be ice or black ice, and they may close it all down. And schools are closed, because there's a threat of storm.
I heard those.
No snow. Rain.
I heard those giant turtles that cross over those causeways were wearing jackets this morning.
They were.
Got some emails.
Even had earmuffs like the ones I have on my head right now.
At least they remember to put theirs on. But we got
turtle.
We got some emails. We got some emails to read. This first one's from Jesse. He says, "Hey Billy C and Sal, welcome back and Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you, Jess." He says, "Billy, I believe the Joshua Parker fight should be in the UK or maybe Nigeria, where Anthony Joshua's parents are from. Saudi Arabia doesn't make any sense. I'm pretty sure Nigerian fans would show up for AJ. Saudi Arabia doesn't make sense unless they open up a checkbook and pay $100 million. Then it makes all the sense in the world.
Makes a lot of sense.
And Nigeria, they're starved for boxing. Sam Peter, I think, was the last big Nigerian fighter that made a name for himself, former world heavyweight champ. He says, Billy, what's your thoughts on Rio saying that he wasn't taking serious his training camps back then, and now he's serious and will be in shape? It's disappointing that Rios was out of shape and not serious in his fights, but he still fought his ass off. I don't want to hear any excuses after this fight against Garcia. Now I heard that the WBC has ordered this fight as an eliminator, which is a joke. These guys haven't fought consistently last year." They all say it, right, Sal? I mean, it's like the Bob Arum. I was lying yesterday, but I'm telling the truth today. As many times. Listen, nobody loved Bam Bam Rios as much as I did. And, if you're going to say he's out of shape, yeah, maybe in the last couple of fights he was a little out of shape. But like you said, Jesse, he fought his ass off. And for a guy out of shape that can go the distance with the same amount of punch output, he's got to be in somewhat of shape. I think his best days are clearly behind him, and this is a payday fight for him. That's just my thoughts, but I don't know. I have a hard time believing that Bam Bam Rios claims that he never seriously trained for fights. I know towards the end, Sal, but he couldn't have achieved the success that he did by not giving it his all. What do you think?
No, I agree with you. He gave it his all, and but to say you weren't in shape, or you're going to train, or you're going to be serious now, I mean, you should have been serious then. So like I said, he still fought his heart out, and he still fought as if he was in somewhat shape. But to fine tune and to think that you're going to do something you never did is a hard reach.
Jesse goes on to say, I heard that Inoue will move to 118 pounds and most likely target Zolani Teat. I cannot believe he will bypass Estrada, Yafi, I can't even pronounce his name, Kudraz, etc. in the 115-pound division. I mean, he's a young kid, basically, and maybe he can't make that weight, although they're only separated by 3 pounds.
3 pounds.
He might be moving up for bigger money. I don't know. That's a tough one. Those weight classes they go up and down and can move in and out of those weight classes based on what they had to eat the night before. I don't know. He says, what's your thoughts on Jimmy G for the 49ers? Is he the real deal quarterback for them? I think his quick release, accurate, good footwork, and understands the defense. I think the Niners should go after a star receiver like A.J. Green to give him a talented receiver. Garoppolo is the real deal. I wish the New York Jets got him. This is a guy that was groomed under Tom Brady. He clearly knows the game. I think the only problem with Garoppolo is his ability to stay healthy. He's got the type of body build that is susceptible to getting hurt. So we'll have to see. If I'm the 49ers, the first thing I do is make sure I have a solid line in front of him. I think he does need to have a couple of good targets. But, I mean, if I'm building that team around Garoppolo, the first thing I'm doing is getting some concrete giant linemen that are the real deal. I'm giving them a threat at running back and, work into a draft, work into a receiver, a couple of receivers. Maybe look at the draft. An A.J. Green kind of guy is going to cost too much money. It'll take away from building other aspects of the game and for the team. I think that they need to focus on the line for him. They need to give him a running back, and they need to have a lights-out defense. But then again, so does every team, right? But thanks for the email, Jess. Another one is from my man Mitch. He says, hey, Billy C., one great fight of 2017 that people seem to have missed on a list of Fight of the Year candidate was Hurd against Trout. It wouldn't have won, but a lot of people forgot about it. I agree. That was a great fight. Trout did well for why it lasted, and Hurd showed me how big that division is. Junior middleweights, those guys were monsters. He says also TC, Terrence Crawford answered some questions about fighting bigger guys with his Instagram photo that I've attached below, and he sent me a photo of Terrence Crawford, Sal, on a scale weighing 170 pounds, and he wrote next to the weight, I can't wait to start training camp. I'm feeling a bit heavy. 170 pounds, and then Mitch says, as you can see, he's 30 pounds over 147, and to be honest, was always bigger than his opponents on fight night. Sal, one thing I've always said, and I know you agree, and it's something I admired about Floyd Mayweather. If you want to be a great fighter and you want to be a champion, you can't balloon up. And even Terrence Crawford, I mean, I know it was the holidays and stuff like that, but, you could say what you want about Floyd, and I certainly have said many things about the guy, but the truth of the matter is he was never more than a few pounds over whatever fighting weight he decided to fight at. I think Terrence Crawford isn't doing himself any favors by ballooning up 30 pounds. 30 pounds is a lot of weight, don't you think, to lose in a training camp?
Well, it is, and especially on a frame that maybe isn't used to walking around carrying it. So, he ballooned up, and a lot of it, let's take for granted, a lot of it is going to be holiday weight and just bloating and just everything else that's involved with the feast of the festivities and consuming everything you can. And I mean, that's the mentality and mindset. It's like a feast or famine sometimes with some of these fighters. You have your incentive and you have your reward. And whether you eat a gallon of ice cream as a reward or this and that, it does add up, and it does take a while to peel it off. But if this was just holiday weight after he had his last fight and things like that, he shouldn't have that much difficulty, believe me. He could peel it off, but the bottom line is if you continue to do things like this, your body wants to retain all that weight, and it's going to get harder and harder for him to lose that weight. So let's hope he just has a little bit of a binge on this holiday spree, and now he can get serious and take it off. But no fighter should do that to his body day in, day out, or after each fight or so. It takes a toll, everything else. And that's what you just said about Floyd Mayweather is so true. And most trainers, I remember them saying, hey, you got to always stay within striking distance of your weight. You got to always stay in shape because you never know when that opportunity is going to come. And, you really do have to do that. And that's it.
Ricky Hatton was famous for really blowing up between fights. And he was an exception to be able to get down to weight But, the smartest thing a fighter could do is when they go into training camp for a fight that they sign for, to focus not on losing weight for that training camp, to focus on your opponent and your game plan, and that's what Floyd always did, and it worked for him, obviously.
Yes.
Excuse me?
I'm sorry. I was going to say, and when you go through the natural process of training, you have your run in the morning, then you go into the gym, then you might go for a walk or something else at night. You do burn calories, and you could expect to lose those pounds. So, it depends if you go 6 weeks, 8 weeks, or 18 months. That was a joke. You have to plan out how much you're going to lose, what you're going to consume, and you're going to lose 2 pounds a week, you're going to lose this, you're going to lose water before the fight. You got to find also what's your most comfortable weight class. I mean, where do you feel better? Do you feel better fighting at 147 pounds and then maybe going into the ring that night at 154 or 152? So a fighter's got to know himself, and a fighter's got to know where he is at his best.
We got another email. This one's from your buddy Raheem. He says,
hey, Raheem.
He says, "Good morning, Billy C. and Sal. This is Raheem." Hey, Raheem. He says, "Happy New Year to both of you guys. 2017 was great for me. Pacquiao versus Horn. Chocolito against the guy I can't pronounce his name. Joshua against Klitschko. Lomachenko against Rigondeaux." And he's got to always bug me with, he throws in Mayweather McGregor. For the record was the best. You know what? It wasn't a record, Raheem. It's a scam. That 49-0 was only significant towards the heavyweight division. Talk to your father about that. But anyway, he says, now 2018 is looking great. My upset of the year is going to be Parker knocking out Anthony Joshua. Parker's 24-0 with 18 knockouts, and he's a WBO champ. Parker's young, fast, and has a great jab. He's got a good hook, and he's quick on his feet. He's always in shape, and he had a great amateur career. I think Parker is a younger version of a young, faster Klitschko. And we saw what happened when Klitschko downed Joshua. If Parker does the same, Joshua will not make the 10 count. Oh, here's a football question. My Bears are in need of a coach. I want them to pay Nick Saban whatever he wants because Saban is the best coach of all coaches. Will NF teams go after Saban? I think my Bears should at least call him. One more question. Have you read The Art of the Deal by President Trump? It's a great book, and I think that the president did great promoting fights, and I think that he did great in 2017. I like that I will be getting more of my money in the new tax plan. First of all, I'll address the Parker issue. I don't think Parker's going to knock out Anthony Joshua. As far as the football question, the coaching question, Nick Saban, now I'm a big Alabama fan, and I love Nick Saban as a college coach. But Nick Saban has already tried his foray into professional football in the NFL. He was a coach for the Miami Dolphins. Did not work out well. Some coaches, their nature and style of coaching will only work on the college level, not because they don't know what they're doing, but because of the players that they have to coach. In college, the players change. They rotate every 4 years. They got basically a new team. And those players are students. They're kids. And they're trying to achieve to make the NFL when they get paid. They're not getting paid in college. So the teams revolve around the coach. The coach is the man. In the NFL, the teams have a tendency in today's era to revolve around the player. And the reason why they revolve around the player is because the player is costing the team $100 million. So what happens is you get a player that doesn't like a coach. The coach is costing him $1 million. The player is costing him $10 million for that year, and they get rid of the coach because it's a financial move. I don't think that Nick Saban should do anything but coach Alabama. And not because I'm an Alabama fan. The reason is because the guy's making big bucks. He's like a god in Alabama. He's the record shows it. His success shows it. And you're starting to see other guys move to the NFL. Move from the NFL into the college ranks. Yes, we do need a new infusion of new blood in the NFL. But until the coaches have some power over the players, it's not going to work. Those kick-in-the-ass coaches like Bill Parcells and even Bill Belichick don't work in the NFL anymore. The reason why Bill Belichick does is because he's got a couple of handfuls of rings, and people respect that. When you get a coach that comes in, he could be the best college coach in the history of the sport, but if he's got no Super Bowl rings, the players aren't going to respect him. Don't count on Nick Saban going to your Bears, Raheem. And as far as reading Trump's book, I have to be honest when I tell you that I did not read Trump's book, but I do agree that he did a great job promoting fights in the 80s and early 90s. He was influential in the sport. And, contrary to what a lot of people think, I think he's doing a good job as president. I know he says a lot of stupid stuff, but Sal, as far as the tax plan, nobody knows what's happening with that tax plan. So you're going to have to wait a whole year before that comes into view. But I don't know, not to get political, Sal, but I think he's doing a good job. The economy's doing well. The job rate, jobless rate is down. He seems to be creating jobs. I think a lot of the negativity is from the media and from a lot of younger people that just have drank the Kool-Aid from their professors in college. That's what I think. What do you think?
Well, there you go again. I'll tell you what. I think he's doing a great job. I think he's got a challenge. I think he's doing things. He's shaking things up. I mean, when you profess and your platform is that you want to drain the swamp and change the system and change the structure, and part of the problem is having to deal with the party that you are nominated and are representing being part of that problem. So when you have not only the opposing parties not being on your side, and then your own party being concerned about how much structure and how much change and how much things you're really going to try to reach for, and thinking that they're going to be without a job, it's a hard act to follow. So I give him a lot of credit. He's got to have some wiggle room. There's got to be some gray area, and he needs to work across the aisle, and he needs to continue to work and get the momentum from his own party on his side, which they're not all on board, and that's why he's having some lack of progress in certain areas. And but I'll tell you what, the art of the deal and the whole thing about what Trump represents is why he won the election. And he can't lose sight of this. People put him in office because he promised he wanted to run for a change, and he wanted to do things. And like I said, I don't think we're going to have to worry that he's going to deviate from what he wants to do. I just think that he is really caught in a rough place on both sides with the opposing parties and his own party, because they're not going to want to allow that much change to occur. So to get things done that he's trying to get done, he's going to need some kind friends here to try and get on his side. So he's got to massage it. He's got to do what he's got to do, and I think he's doing a good job thus far. The guy's a winner. The guy's a winner. Okay, the guy has done good things, and he's got my support. Okay, and I just want to let you know that. Thank you very much.
What's the story with his hair? I mean, why is it a different
Well,
color?
I think they allowed someone to grab that on I don't know if it was Hillary Clinton or somebody, but they allowed somebody to grab that hair, and that is real hair.
My point is the color. Some days it looks blonde, some days it looks orange, some days it looks gray. I think they got to stop spraying them with whatever they're spraying them with. But anyway, we got one more email. This one's from my man Johnston. He says, "Hey, Billy C and Sal, the latest news on this side of the pond is that the AJ Parker fight." Let's see. News on the part of AJ Parker fight from Eddie Hearn and AJ, plus the WBA. He says Eddie Hearn confirms that the fight is close and that the New Zealander will not be able to handle the pressure. For me, this is a strong indication that the fight's going to take place in the UK and not Saudi Arabia or Nigeria, which is being mentioned. When he talks about pressure, he surely means fighting AJ and the weight of the home crowd. Hearn said, "Can Parker deal with the pressure? That's only something we'll find out on fight night. He'll never have or never will experiencing anything like this. Only the special fighters are capable of experiencing it and rising above it and actually performing. I don't think Parker will crumble, but will he lose his head? Quite possibly. These are all quotes from Eddie Hearn. He says if he doesn't and he can execute his game plan, then he may be a very special talent. I think Parker is a lot better fighter than he gets looked upon in his especially his last couple of fights. Everyone in boxing knows that, but can he handle that performance under that sort of pressure? That's what everybody's asking, because we know AJ can. As far as the rematch clause, the rematch isn't for Anthony Joshua's protection. If he wins, he's going to make an absolute fortune in the rematch. It's a good fight, and if Joe loses, we'll do it again, no problem. It's a carrot to show Joseph Parker what's possible. It's an incentive for him to take the fight. If he beats Anthony Joshua, then the first fight he'll want is a rematch, because it'll be the biggest fight in boxing. If he does win, he's also going to be the biggest star in the sport. Joshua said, and I quote, "Negotiations are tough, but in terms of the love of the sport, I won't let this get in the way from achieving my goal, because legacy is important to me, and I think we're achieving something special. To hold all the belts has never been done before, so I won't let negotiations get in the way of securing my legacy and what I could achieve in boxing. I think we're 95% of the way there, completing our deal with Joseph Parker." Johnson says, one point about the WBA, they've now made Alexander Povetkin the mandatory challenger after his recent win over Christian Hammer. I know this is no shock, but I think this will throw a spinner in the works for any potential rematch or any other big fights over the summer. This is why I think AJ needs to forget about collecting all the belts, as he will never be able to keep them all at once and give the fans what we want, and that's Wilder or even Tyson Fury. He talks legacy. He needs to push the fights, not concentrate on the belts. If anything, he should ditch the WBA belt. The WBA is a joke, a good example of their money-grabbing antics and complete, utter ignorance to boxing and its fans since 2011, when the WBA decided to recognize 2 world champions instead of 1. The WBA has made more loads of cash in sanctioning fees, hence, this is why they'll never have 1 champion. If you fancy a laugh, as of Wednesday, here's their top 15. Alexander Povetkin, number 1. Frezequendo, number 2. Frezequendo hasn't fought in over 3 years. Jarrell Miller, number 3. Kubrat Pulev, number 4. Trevor Bryan, number 5. Christian Hammer, number 6. Dillian White, number 7. Alexander Ustinov, number 8. BJ Flores at number 9. Guillermo Jones at number 10. Guillermo Jones is 105. Otto Whalen at number 11. Brian Jennings at number 12. Lucas Brown at number 13. Johan Duhaupas at number 14. And Kotaro Fujimoto, number 15. From the guy, I was mad at him. I wasn't mad. I was fooling around with him. He says, from the guy that's dead to you. I think Johnston makes a great point here, Sal. These top 15 is a complete joke. What do you think?
Well, yeah, they are. I can't believe it. And, that's the WBA?
WBA, yep.
Wow, with Bob's approval, that's what we used to say it stood for. But I'll tell you what, I don't approve of that myself. Nice. It's hard to say. It really is. But I'll tell you, where we're going to go this year, those fights and those people in that division or in that sanctioning body, are going to have to either step up and show it or just bail out and not make it, not keep up there. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Listen, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we got a couple other things to talk about and then some. So don't go anywhere.
Billy C will be right back. Part of the Billy C Boxing Network.
Listen to this important message. If you owe money to the IRS, you will want to hear this. Penalties and interest compound daily on your back taxes, putting you under a mountain of debt. Tax 10,000 has years of experience connecting people with tax resolution specialists. Working through the IRS Fresh Start program, they will handle all the necessary forms, and if you qualify, you may end up saving thousands of dollars. Call Tax 10,000 at 800-773-4604.
Need
Need relief from backaches and stiffness in your hips or down your legs? Then you need Dr. Ho's Back Relief Belt. The innovative technology works to support and decompress your spine. And now it's covered by Medicare.
Every patient with back pain should be wearing this belt.
Nothing gave me instant relief except for the Dr. Ho belt.
Feel good while standing, walking, driving, doing housework, and while laying down. And now Dr. Ho's patented belt is available at our best price ever. It's even covered by Medicare. Order now and get the easy-to-use hand pump and back rehabilitation DVD free.
You know, similar belts can cost you almost $1,000, but my belts won't cost you $500, not $300, not even $200. I will give you my special TV price.
And remember, Dr. Ho's belt is covered by Medicare.
If you know a friend or family member that suffers with pain, get them my system today. Help them live with less pain, be more active, and get back to doing the things they love. Give them the gift of health.
Broken air conditioning, $4,400. Failing refrigerator, $2,500. Don't let outrageous repair and replacement bills like these bust your budget. Get the First American Home Warranty Plan. And when a covered appliance or system breaks, we'll repair it or replace it for you.
We had a high-end dishwasher go kaput. They put in a brand new dishwasher.
We have plans that cover air conditioning, most appliances, plus heating, plumbing, electrical systems, and much more. Plans start as low as $25 a month. Why let a major appliance or system breakdown bust your budget or go through the hassle of finding trustworthy service people? Last year alone, we saved our customers over $120 million. Don't wait until something breaks and you're stuck with a huge bill.
You save a lot of money. It's absolutely worth it.
If you don't have First American Warranty, get it.
Call 1-800-946-6234 for your free no-obligation quote. Are you currently on Medicare? In other words, do you carry the red, white, and blue Medicare card? If so, are you suffering from chronic back pain? If you answered yes, you may be eligible for a pain-relieving back brace covered by Medicare at little to no cost, shipped directly to your home for free. These medical-grade back braces are ideal for lower back pain, arthritis, spinal disorders, and other chronic back problems. Will you qualify for a medical-grade back brace?
Call Back Brace America at 1-800-290-8300.
Check out BillyCBoxing.com now, or feel the wrath of the mighty mustache.
Oh, that hurts! Why are you doing that to my face? I hate you!
That's BillyCBoxing.com. Consider this your warning.
Now back to Billy C. Interact with the show at BillyCBoxing.com.
And we're back. You're listening to the Billy C. Show. Hey, glad you could be with us. And don't forget to be with us on January 19th. That's right. We're going to be down in St. Simon's Island again at the beautiful Sea Palms Resort, Hotel, and Conference Center. And PGA Golf Course, I may throw in there. And Sal and myself are going to be hanging out with some former world champions, and we want you to join us. We're going to be showing not one, not two, not three, but 4 former classic fights that Sal and I are going to call for you, and you're going to be part of our live audience while we film it for our next Boxing Revisited episodes. And while you're enjoying those 4 classic fights, mingling and hanging out with former world champions, you're also going to be able to eat and have a cash bar available. So why would you want to miss it? You missed it the last time. Don't miss it this time. Get a hold of the Sea Palms. Go to seapalms.com. Reach out. Tell them you want to book a weekend for you and the family. January 19th is the event, but save yourself some time for Saturday and Sunday. Get out on a golf course. Enjoy some sun and the fun with Sal, because he'll golf with everybody. Right, Sal?
I'll golf. Shoulder separation and torn tendon and all. I'll golf.
Yeah, okay. Now you got you don't want to make an excuse not to golf, but I got a torn shoulder. I got
to reel in a rod. I golf. Definitely. I love golf.
I'll drive the cart. the cart. You give me a couple of gummy bears, I'll drive the cart. All right.
I'll hold your beer.
Well, listen. I want people to make sure you understand that we are back better than ever in 2018. We will be unveiling some new segments that you guys are going to love. I know it. We did not do a blast from the past today, but we will be back with that normal next week. And speaking of next week, we will be off one day next week. It's only Tuesday for some stuff that I had to update. But the following week, the week of January 15th, we will not be doing a live show because I'm going to be in St. Simon. So if you want to come down earlier than the 19th, come on down and join Sal and myself at Sal's restaurant. We will be sitting there. Sal's making me all kinds of food. You better make me that breakfast pizza.
You. I got to show you my breakfast pizza.
Yeah.
You never had that.
I never had it.
Give you my breakfast pizza.
Right. I want to try that. That sounds pretty good.
Unbelievable.
But anyway, on this day in boxing history, January 3rd, in 1985, Ji-Won Kim knocks out Sung In Soo in the 10th round to win the IBF World Junior Featherweight title, and that took place in Korea on this day in 1985. On this day in 1928, Newsboy Brown, they just don't come up with names like that anymore. Newsboy Brown wins a 10-round decision over Johnny McCoy to win the California World Flyweight title, and that took place in Los Angeles, California, on this day in 1928. On this day in 1945, Oakland Billy Smith wins a 10-round decision over Jack Chase in their contest from Oakland, California. Smith improves to 19 wins, 9 losses, and 3 draws. And Chase drops to 71 wins, 19 losses, and 8 draws. Oakland Billy Smith was a major opponent in his era. And when you look up his name, you'll see that he fought a lot of great fighters. And finally, on this day, January 3rd in 1916, Harry Wills wins a 20-round decision over the late, great Sam Langford to retain his world-colored heavyweight title, and that fight took place in New Orleans. Side note, Tommy Burns was the referee in this fight, and that's what took place on this day in 1916. Hey, listen, man, make sure you tune in tomorrow morning. Same bat time, same bat channel. Until then, I'll leave you with this. Ciao, baby.